The crash site still smoldered when Raza found her. He'd been checking the perimeter of the mining colony on Kepler 442b when the streak of fire tore across the amber sky. The ship, if it could still be called that, had carved a canyon through the crystalline formations before coming to rest against the base of Mount Thyra. Raza's atmospheric suit readings spiked with exotic radiation, signatures he'd never seen before. The vessel was unlike anything in human-designed databases, sleek where human ships were angular, organic where theirs were mechanical, and massive. Easily 3 times the size of the colony's largest hauler. Steam hissed from ruptured conduits, and strange bioluminescent fluids leaked from what appeared to be living walls. That's when he saw her. She was pinned beneath a collapsed beam that would have crushed a human instantly, but she was very much alive, and very much not human. Even unconscious and trapped, she towered over Raza's modest 5'8" frame. Her skin held an iridescent blue-silver quality that shifted like oil on water, and delicate gill slits fluttered along her elongated neck. Her features were hauntingly beautiful despite being alien. High cheekbones, large eyes beneath closed lids, and hair that seemed to move with its own current. Raza didn't hesitate. His mining exosuit's hydraulic systems whined as he positioned himself beneath the beam. The weight was incredible, easily 10 tons of some crystalline metal that bent space around it. His suit's servos screamed warnings, but he held firm, muscles straining against the mechanical assists. "Come on," he grunted, lifting with everything he had. The beam shifted. The alien woman's eyes snapped open, swirling pools of deep violet that fixed on his face with startling intelligence. She spoke in a melodic language that his translator couldn't parse, but her tone was clear. Gratitude mixed with confusion. Why was this small creature helping her? "Easy," Raza said, repositioning his grip. "Almost got it." The beam lifted clear, and she rolled free with surprising grace for someone who'd just been in a starship crash. Standing, she revealed her true height, nearly 8 feet of lean muscle and alien elegance. She touched his helmet gently with one long-fingered hand, and Raza felt something impossible, a warmth that penetrated the suit's environmental barrier. Her name, she managed to convey through gestures and broken attempts at human speech, was Naz. Raza brought her back to the colony's medical bay, where Dr. Chen ran every scan available. Naz's physiology was fascinating, a hybrid of what appeared to be aquatic and terrestrial evolution, with redundant organ systems and a skeletal structure that seemed to incorporate living metal. She healed at an extraordinary rate, and within hours of the crash she was walking around the small facility with only minor assistance. The colonists were wary but curious. Naz demonstrated remarkable intelligence, quickly picking up basic human speech patterns and even helping to repair some of their aging atmospheric processors with techniques that surpassed human engineering. That evening, as Kepler 442b's twin sun set, Raza found Naz standing at the observation deck looking up at the stars. She'd fashioned clothing from emergency blankets that somehow looked elegant on her towering frame. "Your people, where?" Naz asked in careful English, her voice like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. "Earth?" Raza pointed to a star that wasn't actually Sol, but was in the right general direction. "Very far." She nodded thoughtfully, then pointed to a different section of sky. "My people also far. Father will come." "Father?" Naz's expression grew complex. Love, respect, and something that might have been worry. "Father is big leader, admiral." She struggled with the human military term. "Commands many ships." Raza felt a chill that had nothing to do with the planet's dropping temperature. The next morning they came. The sky filled with ships that dwarfed Naz's crashed vessel. They materialized out of nowhere. Some kind of cloaking technology that made human stealth systems look primitive. The largest ship, a magnificent construct of living metal and captured starlight, settled into a stationary orbit directly above the colony. Raza was in the command center when the communication came through, not in radio waves but in light patterns that somehow translated directly into meaning in his mind. The voice that accompanied it was deep, resonant, and carried the weight of absolute authority. "I am Admiral Zethkara of the Dominion Fleet. You harbor my daughter." Governor Martinez, the colony's elected leader, stepped forward. "We rescued her from a crash site. She's been our guest and—" "Guest?" The psychic voice boomed and several humans staggered under its force. "My daughter, heir to the Dominion throne, reduced to accepting charity from Primitives. Naz appeared in the command center, moving with urgent grace. She spoke rapidly in her own language, her voice carrying harmonics that seemed to calm the very air around them. Raza didn't need a translator to understand she was explaining what had happened. The silence stretched for long minutes. When Admiral Zethkara's voice returned, it carried a different tone entirely. The small one. "Bring him to me." Raza felt every eye in the command center turn to him. His mouth went dry. "I think he means me." The transport beam that lifted him to the flagship was gentle but irresistible. He materialized in a vast chamber that seemed to be carved from a single piece of pearl. Admiral Zethkara stood before him, and Raza understood immediately where Naz got her imposing stature. The Admiral was massive even by his people's standards, easily 9 feet tall with the bearing of someone accustomed to commanding stellar empires. But his eyes, swirling violet like his daughter's, held something unexpected. Respect. "You lifted the beam," the Admiral said, and this time he spoke in accented but perfect human English. "My daughter showed me the memory. 10 of my finest warriors could not have done what you accomplished." Raza swallowed hard. Anyone would have done the same. "No." Admiral Zethkara moved closer, and Raza had to crane his neck to meet his gaze. "That is what makes your species remarkable. You see someone in need and you act. Not for gain, not for glory, simply because it is right." The Admiral gestured, and attendants brought forward a chest that seemed to contain condensed starlight. "This is a fragment of our homeworld's core. In your terms, it is worth more than your entire planet's gross domestic product for a millennium." Raza stared at the impossible wealth before him. "Sir, I can't—" "You will." The Admiral's voice brooked no argument. "But more than material wealth, I offer something greater. Friendship between our peoples. Trade. Knowledge. My daughter speaks highly of human ingenuity." Through the great windows of the flagship, Raza could see the colony below, his home, his friends, his life. It looked so small from up here, but it was everything he knew. "There is one condition," Admiral Zethkara continued. "Naz wishes to remain with your people for a time. To learn. She believes humans have something to teach us about courage." Raza thought of the tall, elegant alien woman who'd helped repair their atmospheric processors, who'd learned their language in a single day, who'd looked at the stars with the same longing he'd felt his entire life. "She's welcome to stay as long as she wants," he said. The Admiral smiled, a remarkably human expression on his alien features. "I thought you would say that. My daughter chose her rescuer well." As the transport beam carried Raza back to the colony, he could see Naz waiting for him at the landing pad. Behind her, the other colonists gathered, no longer wary but excited. They were about to become humanity's first contact with a galactic civilization, all because one small human had seen someone in need and decided to help. The Admiral's fleet departed that evening, but not before establishing a permanent communication relay and leaving behind enough technology to transform the mining colony into humanity's first interstellar embassy. Raza found Naz at the observation deck again, but this time she wasn't alone. Several colonists had joined her, and she was teaching them the names of stars in her language while learning human constellations in return. "Your father seems intense," Raza said as he approached. Naz laughed, a sound like silver bells. "Father is warrior king, but he respects strength." She looked down at him, violet eyes twinkling. "And you, small human, are very strong." "I'm not that small," Raza protested. "No," Naz agreed, her expression growing serious. "Size is not everything. You have what my people call Veltar, the courage to do right when no one is watching. It is rarest thing in galaxy." Above them, the stars seemed brighter somehow, full of promise and infinite possibility. Humanity had reached for the stars and found friends among them. And it all started because one man decided to lift a beam.